What's up, Nerdyverse? I'm Daddy Louie, and in this video, we are taking a look at a game called Merchants of Infinity. So stick around. Before we get started, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Really helps us out a lot. Make sure that you hit that subscribe button for more content, and then hit that bell icon so you don't miss any future videos. Merchants of Infinity is a brand new game coming to Kickstarter in a little under a month or so. It is created by Andrew Prouse. It is for 2 to 5 players with a brand new solo mode that is in the works right now. It is for ages 8 and up, and it plays between 30 and 90 minutes. I would say about an hour or so, given how many players you have playing. It is a kind of has a classic Euro game feel to it. It is a resource management game, a worker placement, set collection, auction, hand management, trading, all that stuff. But there is a lot of stuff here that is actually brand new or unique to this specific game. Now, I'll be honest with you, I'm not really a huge fan of those classic Euro games. I feel like it's a tried and true, thing that a lot of games, kind of rinse and repeat and just put a fresh coat of paint on. Merchants of Infinity actually rejuvenated my feeling about the genre because it really, that fresh coat of paint that it puts on it is super shiny. It really does, it does enough different to feel new and fresh. The art is beautiful. It really will pull you in. I'll show you more of that in a minute. But is it good? Well, if you join me on the table, we'll check it out. Okay, so as always, we need to start by looking at the components, and there are a lot of really cool ones here. So you have some bags of credits. These are the victory points that you're going to earn. It's called Platinum, I believe, and this is basically like I said, the VP, the money that you're going to earn throughout the game. There's 4 different decks of cards. You have your ship orders. These are filled by having these in your hand and then being on the locations at the end of the round when you go into scoring. These are your ship orders. No, I'm sorry. These are the ship orders. These are the Vortex Cards. These are going to give you bonuses, again, based on where you are currently at. You don't have to spend meeples in order to earn these. These are just some extra bonus cards. Again, you have to have these. I'll explain how you get them in just a minute. These are the fractal mirror cards. These are super unique. Every turn you're going to, every round I should say, you're going to flip a new one of these, and it completely changes what's going on the map and how you're going to be scoring from turn to turn. So for example, this one says, in this world, station spaces hold 2 traders. So you'll see in a minute when I open up the map, but you're on a space station, and normally throughout a normal size game, you can have up to 3 meeples on each location. This basically says that you can only have 2. So it's going to change how the round is played. Another example would be this world has no tech. So you would not be able to put, you could put a meeple there, but you wouldn't be able to score any tech that round. So these get shuffled up and used every game, and like I said, this is one of the cool things that's unique about this game that gives it some variability from play to play. You also have a D10. This is used for the auction, so we'll talk about that. Not the auction, the center of the board. I can't remember what the space is actually called, but you use that to basically create a new value for you for one of the spaces that you're on if you're not really happy with the current price. So it's kind of a high risk, high reward type thing. You have your Cog Cards. This is another very unique mechanic. It's like a mini game that's that's built into the game that you do at the beginning of every round, and this is you basically kind of bidding, if you will, to see where you place in the initiative order. We'll talk about that a little deeper in a second as well. And then one of the main attractions of the game that a lot of people are really buzzing about online right now is the meeples. They're clear, transparent plastic, but they're nice and big and bulky, and you can do lots of really neat stuff with them. I personally will be using these in all my games that use meeples because they're really, really super cool. There are a lot of videos already out online, kind of like how to reviews. I don't want to do another one of those because it's already been done a lot. This is a pretty popular game right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you all the things that I think make it different from other games of its style, and I'm going to talk about really what the heart and soul of the game is. All right, so real quick, let's talk about the Cog system. Now, at the beginning of the game, each player is going to start with 5 Cog cards. At the beginning of each round, they get a new Cog card, and they can purchase more if they would like to, up to a maximum of 5, using their currency that they have awarded. And basically, you're going to look at your cards and you're going to decide how you want to fall in initiative order. And then you're going to try and play these cards in order to do that. So each player would go around in a circle, and you would announce how many cards you're going to play. For example, I could say I'm going to play 2 cards, and I would place those cards face down. The next player would then go, and they're going to say that they are going to play. They're going to play 2 cards as well, and so on and so forth. And then one at a time, you would flip over the cards, and you are going to add them up. So player 1 would go, they get a +2. Player 2 would go, they would get a +4. Player 1 would go again, they get a +3, so now they're at 5 to the 4. And then player 2 goes and plays a remove 1 card. Now they obviously, it doesn't matter which one they remove. Let's say they remove this one. Now player 2 just won that 4 to 2. So player 2 now becomes player 1, and play then starts with the round. So in the next round, each player played 2 cards. They have 3 left. They would be able to each draw 1 new card, and then if they wanted to buy a 5th card, they would need to spend 1 of their currency in order to do that. So each round, you're going to get a different experience with this Cog initiative system. At first, I was like, maybe it kind of slows things down a little bit. How come you couldn't just have like a rotating initiative? But this little mini game actually kind of spices things up. It has like a little I gotcha in it, because there are cards like remove card. There's other things like double the previous card, and 0 a player's score, things like that, swap to other players' hands. So there are some neat little I gotcha cards in here, and it really is just a cool little extra component that I didn't even realize I wanted until I started playing the game and realized how much fun that it could be. Another thing that's really kind of unique about this game that I wanted to point out is that you can't hoard resources like you can in a lot of other Euro style games like this worker placement style game. You can usually, like I said, you can hoard resources for bigger plays at the end of the game or midway through the game. In this game, you can't do that. So when you play out your workers or your meeples out onto the table, you're not actually gaining the resource. You're gaining a value based on which resource you're on. So up in the corner here, we have this cog. It's kind of off screen a little bit. And the values change every round. So you have this dial that goes over top, and it will spin around, changing the value. So if we look at this this diamond here, this jewel, let's say on turn 1, it's 7. It's worth 7 if you're on there. Next turn, it will only be worth 3. Then it's going to go up to 10, and then it'll go back down again. But you're not actually collecting that resource. You're collecting the value that the resource is worth at that particular station, or at that particular time, because the station is kind of warping from planet to planet, zone to zone. So if I have a meeple here, this, I can spend this meeple at the end when we're scoring to get that 7. I can also spend it in order to play one of the cards that I showed you earlier. So for example, let's say I have this 50 tones of unrefined octimal ore, okay? It's 2 ore icons here, which is right here, okay? So let's say, for example, I have 2 meeples there. Let me find 2 meeples of the same color. So if I have 2 meeples there at that resource at the end of the round when I'm scoring, I can spend these 2 meeples to score 20. So if my dial is on, right now it's on 4, you can't see it, it's in the corner. I have a choice, right? So I can either spend these 2 meeples to score 8, 4 for each, or I can spend these 2 meeples to score 20. Obviously, the 20 is the better value. But here's the catch. I can only spend 3 meeples from the board every round, and you have anywhere from 4 to 6 meeples based on how many players you are playing with. So you also have these other locations on the board that you can go to. You can go to a space station here, and that's where you pick up, or the shipyard, and that's where you pick up these ship orders, right? So I can, if a ship order was there, I can play here, and then I can collect this, and then I can play other cards here, or other guys here, and then score those at the end of the round by playing this card. There's also the Vortex Bar, which has the Vortex Cards, and like I said in the description, those just give you an extra bonus. So if it's a jewel for each guy that I have on that item, I can play that card, and I just get that many points. I don't have to actually spend my meeples. But at the end of the turn, whatever meeples you don't spend, whatever's still on the board, everything comes back to you, and the whole thing starts again. So the board resets every single round, which is really, really unique. It's not something that I've seen before. I'm sure there are other games that have it, but it's not something I've seen. And so giving you those different options, there's an auction house so that you can bid on items that you know, because you can only have so many meeples on a location every round. I think it's 3 in a normal game unless you have a card or you're playing a 2-player, in which you can only have 2. So if a space is already full and you really need that spot because you need that resource, you can always go to the auction house. There's also an apprentice that you can have that lets you play an extra meeple at the end of each round. So there's a lot of different things that you can do on the board, all while trying to score the maximum points. And like I said, you can hoard these cards if you want to, but the board resets every single turn, so you're not going to be able to hoard resources till later on in the game. Also, you have those fractal mirror cards, which is going to block spaces that you can't use per turn. It's going to change things up. It's really, really just pretty neat, unique stuff going on. All right, so the last thing I really want to talk about is these 2 spots up here, which are called the station spaces and the Nova spaces. So the station spaces are other locations that you can put meeples on. And again, how many meeples you have at the beginning of the game is based on how many players are playing. So if you have extra meeples that you want to use, you can send them up here. And these give you flat bonuses based on which location that you go to. So here, like draw 3 cards, draw 3, discard 3. You have +4 to your lab roll. That was the Steam Lab, the open space that I talked about in the earlier, when you're trying to increase your value. You've also got Set the Market, which lets you change this however you want to on the next turn, increasing market value by +2. So on and so forth. So these are just some flat bonuses that you can go to, and they're really cool. This is, again, not really... I have seen something similar in other games, but these particular ones were pretty unique, and I liked using them. This space over here, the Nova spaces, are completely optional, and these are more PvP spaces. These are going to give you player versus player interactions in order to allow you to kind of hurt your neighbor, do things to mess with your opponent. We personally didn't use these too much, but I can see the appeal of them. We had enough of the, screwing over your neighbor from the Cog minigame during Initiative. Uh, but again, you can use these if you want to. They're completely optional, but very fun. That's really all I'm going to talk about as far as how to play. Like I said, there's a lot of other how to play reviews out there right now. I really just wanted to show you the things that I thought were pretty unique and different, as well as some things that I think will really draw players into the game. Really, what's at the heart of, what the creators are trying to do to draw people in here. There's a lot of variation of play between these fractal mirror cards, the changing of the market every single turn, card draw, things like that. You have that really unique mini game for Initiative. The theme itself is great. You have the sci-fi steampunk thing going on. The art is beautiful. It's meant to blow people away. The big meeples are really going to draw people in. You have those optional PvP spaces. But at the end of the day, you're not able to hoard resources like you can in other games. You really have to play the board every single round differently, which is cool because it forces you to try new strategies each round, and it will help you to recoup your losses. If you're failing big time at towards the beginning of the game, you still have a chance to win towards the end. And that's really all the cool stuff that I wanted to talk about when it comes to Merchants of Infinity. If you are looking for a full how to play style review, I'll go over there on YouTube and I'll pick out which one my favorite is, and I'll throw it in the comment section down below just to give a little shout out to the creators. There's some great creators out there right now covering this game. I really just wanted to show you guys what I feel is the heart and the soul of the game, some of those things that are unique and that are going to draw you in. I'm a big sci-fi guy, in case you can't tell from my decor behind me. So the theme was right there. Like I said, I wasn't going into this game, I wasn't like a huge Euro-style game fan. But this game does enough differently to really rejuvenate how I feel about the genre. And that's a really, really good thing. They've paid a lot of attention to detail here. They've really given every component of the game a lot of thought. Like I said at the beginning, when this game was first created, it was 2 to 5 players. Then the pandemic hit, and the creator got a lot of requests for a solo mode. So what did he do? He created a solo mode, which is still a work in progress, but there's also some great videos out there of some solo playthroughs. We didn't play it solo. We played it with 3 and 4 players. But you can definitely go out there and find that. Also, I wanted to mention that the rule book has some rules variations to make the game easier. So if you have non-gamers that you want to show the game to, or a younger audience that you want to try and draw people in with, you can use those rules to make things a little easier to play. Still a lot of fun. Also, the stretch goals, this is going to be a Kickstarter, so he has a lot of stretch goals in mind. He's looking at metal coins, possibly 3D ships, more cards, expansions, all that kind of fun stuff. So don't forget the Kickstarter comes out in just a little under a month. I'll leave links to everything in the description below. Check it out. This game's going to be a big one. What do you guys think of Merchants of Infinity? Let me know down in the comments section below. I love to read those and interact with you guys. If you would like to see more from the Circle of Nerds, you can find our Facebook, our Twitter, our Instagram, all at Circle of Nerds. We also have a podcast that comes out every Wednesday called The Cosmic Disaster Show. You can find that right here on YouTube or anywhere that you enjoy listening to podcasts. We also have a Friday night 8:30 p.m. live stream over on Facebook called Nerds on Ice. You don't want to miss that. And for an extra bit of love and affection, please consider checking us out over at Patreon at patreon.com/Circle of Nerds. Anyway, guys, that's all from me. I will see you in the next video.